and start to record. Okay, so welcome to session 6. So we've already covered a little bit of things. A tool plan assignment is due. You'll see some more messaging about that, I'm sure, this week, but that's due on Sunday. Check that out on Moodle. So moving on down our chart here, one thing I think Judy sort of brought up, that the dates weren't, some of these dates weren't applicable for the black belts. So I tried to make some adjustments for that, so you can kind of see down here in this section here for the session 10 improve. Final mini projects due except for the black belts. The black belts are due in December. The practice test is due, and that's except for black belts and except for the transactional black belt people, because they don't have to do the transactional black belt people don't have to do the practice test or the final exam. And then the black belt people do those things in December, okay? Any questions about that? And Judy, you've got your hand raised. So Judy, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is, since our projects aren't due until December, does that mean that we're going to be doing much more elaborate projects, or simply because we're going to be doing more of the statistical lessons and so forth?
It's mainly because you're going to be doing more of the statistical lessons. In this training, I don't really differentiate too much between the difficulty level of the green belt tools versus the black belt tools. Certainly because we'll be doing those, you'll learn about those additional statistical tools in the fall. If you want to add those in, you're certainly welcome to do that, but it's not an explicit requirement of the black belts, okay?
Okay, and I have one more question. I have to say that session 6 kind of it kicked me a little bit. Is it fairly normal to be feeling a little intimidated by the measurements at this point?
Yeah, was the gauge R&R the thing that kicked you?
That was where it started intensifying, yes.
Yeah, it gets a little tense. This is where I think this is sort of one of the tougher sections. We'll talk a little bit about the gauge R&R. It's something that you need to know about, but it's also something that I think as you get into it and actually have to sort of do one, that's where, I even, open up the book and, go online and sort of, read the step-by-step instructions so that I know how to do this. So this is, for me, and I don't think for you, gauge R&R is not necessarily an off-the-cuff sort of thing. So as you get into these more difficult statistical type analyses, go for all the help you can get. But
okay, good, because I think this was the first lesson where I couldn't just read it and process it. I needed, I needed to study more.
Right.
And actually study it. And it was the first one where when I started taking the exam, I realized I am no way ready for this, because before it had been like a lesson, a question here or there that I had to go back and do the second question. And on this one, I was pretty foiled by several of the questions in a row.
Well, this you're getting a peek into sort of the statistical side on the Lean Six Sigma. So a lot of the stuff we've sort of covered before is sort of the lean stuff, and now we're getting into some of the statistical stuff that you get on the Six Sigma side. So you're seeing what that's looking like. But so my recommendation to you is do the exercises, take them slow, take notes. If you continue to struggle and you want to give me a call and we'll get online, we'll chat, and we'll work through some things. That'd be fine too, okay?
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, sure. Any other questions? Dominic, question. And you got your microphones muted.
Yeah, sorry, unmuting here. Just a comment on that, the background. Just to remember that you guys are through this course. There's a lot of supplemental material, right? So through the Gemba community, that may help leverage some of those concepts or understanding of, they typically frame it a little bit better than the Morse team. Has been my opinion. So
Okay.
I just wanted to.
So did you come like some things like I haven't been into the statistical stuff on Gimba Academy. So do they have some things that are applicable to things like Gauge R&R or
There's some content there to browse.
right.
I didn't. I've been through this, and certainly working in aerospace, it's we have to flex that muscle often.
Yeah,
So we're running that, but I just wanted to kind of offer that as a point as well. Maybe an area to explore.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Samik, for mentioning it. I appreciate that. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. So here's our dashboard for this week. Things are holding pretty tight. You can definitely see that we had a percent correct drop down there a little bit over what typically has been in the past. So you guys, you got to get your fall and winter minds in gear. This is no longer a summer class when you get into some of these statistical things. So just be ready for that as we go forward and through the next few sections. All right. Attendance, let's see. So we're at 16. So last time I think we were at 17. So we're dropping down, but I think we're still holding tight relatively. All right. So moving on here. This time I'm gonna ask you. So normally what we do at this time is break into our discussion groups. I am gonna skip that for this particular session, and I'm gonna move over right into our introduce our guest speaker. But just remember, as we go through these things, you should be building your Greenbelt story. So starting out with define, now we're in measure. We talked about last time what maybe some of your key measures are. This time, how are you going to know that your measurements are good, which is essentially, the measurement system analysis piece. So we'll talk about that a little bit after we're done with our guest speaker. So with that, what I want to do is introduce our guest speaker, and I am going to stop my screen share at this point. And I'm also going to stop the record so that we get like a break in the recording here. So let me go ahead and stop share. And let me see, stop